Julio Foolio trial, 4 found guilty, death penalty. Phase next, 4 men have now been found guilty in the killing of Florida rapper Julio Foolio. But the most serious part of this case may not be over yet. What started as a birthday trip to Tampa ended in a deadly hotel area ambush, a major murder trial, and now a possible death penalty phase. Prosecutors say this was not random. They say Charles Jones, known to fans as Julio Foolio, was tracked, followed, and ambushed after traveling from Jacksonville to Tampa for his 26th birthday. Now, Isaiah Chance, Sean Gathright, Rashad Murphy, and Davian Murphy have all been found guilty of first-degree murder. So how did this case unfold? What evidence did prosecutors point to, and what happens next? Let's break it down. Julio Foolio, whose real name was Charles Jones, was a Jacksonville rapper with a strong following and a controversial public image. His music, his online presence, and his public rivalries made him one of the most talked-about figures in Florida's rap scene. To many fans, he represented pain, survival, street life, and the harsh realities of his environment. But prosecutors later argued that the conflict surrounding his world did not stay online. In June 2024, Jones traveled from Jacksonville to Tampa to celebrate his birthday. According to reports, he had posted about being in Tampa, and the weekend was supposed to be a celebration. Instead, it became the center of a murder investigation. Reports say Jones was staying in Tampa when he later ended up near a hotel area close to the University of South Florida. That is where prosecutors say the ambush happened. The state's argument was that this was not a sudden confrontation. Prosecutors said the men followed Jones across multiple locations before the shooting. They described the killing as part of an ongoing Jacksonville gang conflict that was brought into Tampa. During the trial, jurors reportedly heard about surveillance video, text messages, cell phone records, and social media activity. Prosecutors used those pieces of evidence to argue that the defendants coordinated their movements and tracked Jones before the attack. That digital trail became one of the central parts of the case. After hearing the evidence, the jury returned a guilty verdict. Isaiah Chance, Sean Gathright, Rashad Murphy, and Davian Murphy were all found guilty of first-degree murder and conspiracy charges. Reports also say that all defendants except Isaiah Chance were convicted of attempted second-degree murder connected to the people injured during the shooting. The verdict was a major turning point. For Charles Jones's family, it represented accountability after a public and painful loss. For the defendants, it means the case now moves into an even more serious stage, the penalty phase. Prosecutors are seeking the death penalty. That means the jury and court must now consider what punishment should follow the guilty verdicts. At this stage, prosecutors will argue why the harshest punishment should apply. The defense will argue why the defendants should not receive the death penalty. This is why the next phase matters so much. The question is no longer whether the jury found them guilty. The question is whether the punishment will be life in prison or death. Beyond the courtroom, this case carries a painful message. One man lost his life, other people were injured, families are grieving, and 4 men are now facing consequences that may follow them forever. There are no winners in a case like this, only loss, pain, and families left to carry the weight. The Julio Foolio case is now one of the most serious rapper murder trials in recent years. 4 men have been found guilty. Prosecutors are seeking the death penalty, and the sentencing phase will determine what happens next. What do you think about the verdict and the penalty phase? Share your thoughts respectfully in the comments, and follow for more clear breakdowns of major crime, court, and hip-hop stories.